Welcome to our 2022 recap of our Socomec UK Tech Thursdays. My name is Michael Lonsdale. I'm the UK Sales Manager for Power Switching and Power Monitoring. I'm joined by my colleagues Kevin and Richard, who you've seen over the year. We'd like to thank you for our Tech Thursday following this year. We've had a really good following. We've had over 100 guests per Tech Thursday sessions. So I'd like to just thank you for that again. At the end of this, we put a compilation of the main questions and key points from each of the Tech Thursdays throughout this year. So please stay and listen to those, because if just in case you've forgotten something or there's something you didn't attend and you managed to pick up an answer to a question you might have thought of. So Kevin, what do you think was the main takeaways this year from 2022 from the Tech Thursdays?
Yeah, I think it has been great to do this Tech Thursday on the STS products, because as we all know, the market is booming, has been through the past years. So really helping customers to give them a better understanding of the product and the solutions. And again, thank you all to our customers for the support, and we are always doing our best to help them on any projects. So thank you again for that. Thanks,
Kevin. And Richard, you've been involved in a lot of the Tech Thursdays this year. So what's the main points that you, besides the fact that AC/DC come from Australia, what do you think are the main key points that you've been able to take away from the Tech Thursdays this year?
I think it's been so much feedback and positive feedback. The modular UPS, that marketplace is just booming at the moment. People like the aspect of redundancy and efficiency. Sustainability is high on everyone's topic at the moment. We've just achieved 14,001 for Socomec in the UK for environmental, which is showing our commitment to sustainability. And energy storage, since that Tech Thursday, the inquiries have just been flowing in. It fits the market, it's what people want, so it's been really positive.
Yeah, it has been great, Richard, thank you. And I said the 14,001's a great achievement for the Socomec UK team. And I think the last month, obviously, you saw the AC and DC live stream. We talked about how to manage the AC and the DC arc, but we also touched on this year about how to measure your power and power monitoring, which links across all three of the topics we just talked about, because obviously sustainability and measuring power is something that's extremely important. So we thank you again for your time this year in Tech Thursdays. If you've got any ideas for topics you'd like us to discuss and present in 2023, please let us know at info.uk@socomec.com, or you can contact any one of three of us or your local Socomec sales engineer, and we'll come back to you and we'll present that in the next year. So thanks again for your time. Thanks very much.
We've got here one. Would the transfer time be longer with a 4-pole than a 3-pole switching?
Right. So no, it wouldn't. It would be exactly the same. On the 3-pole switching, we switch the 3 phases. On the 4-pole switching, we switch the 3 phases and the neutral. Just something we need to keep in mind, and we've covered that in the previous STS live stream. The neutral will be overlapped to keep the earth and neutral reference, but the switching time will be exactly the same. So typically 3 to 5 milliseconds. Unsynchronized transfer, we would say around 10 milliseconds,
12, yeah.
And still below the 20 milliseconds specified in the IT-IC curve.
Yeah, well, good answer.
Thank you.
And this one, if somebody's got a 4-wire 3-pole version, but they've got no neutral on the incoming, would that work? And I think we touched on this very early on, and they are built differently, and the inputs for the power supplies especially, things for the fans and things are all wired slightly differently depending on whether you've got a 3-wire, 4-wire system. So no, initially we would need to know exactly what kind of infrastructure you've got to make sure we've got the right STS for you from the get-go.
Nice one. Yeah.
And I can't
any other questions?
See any others. There's a few people sharing it about, but there's none others
Nothing
that have
else.
come in. And those. We've got one about communication products. I mean, it's not something we touched on. There are communication slots, but again, all the 4-wire and 3-wire, they're all exactly the same communication slot, so we can have all the typical communication devices, Modbus, ADC, NetVision, SNMTP and stuff, and BACnet. So they're common across. But if you do need any more information, I'm sure Kevin will be happy to provide you with everything there.
100%. Always.
So, have there been any questions?
Yeah, let's have a look. We've got I like this one about airflow. Somebody's asking, like, obviously the airflow and setting up. So from a servicing point of view, everything is front access, and the same for the airflow. The airflow goes in through the front and then out the back. So you do need a small amount of space, about 400 mil at the back of the machines. And there are options for top entry.
There's an option at the back for a top exhaust. So it's I think 200 mil. So instead of needing 400, you only need 200, and that it's a chimney up the back with exhaust fans on the top.
A couple of fans on top as well. But so then you can push it right back and regain that space as well. Something about firmware updating, so a firmware updating for the whole system. So yes, obviously the firmware that's held on the control board that obviously does the auto firmware alignment. If you did need to firmware update the whole system, you would need a Socomec engineer to do that. But again, we can do that whilst it's all online. So again, as long as you've got redundancy, you've got an extra module, we'll take one module off at a time. It does the firmware update, puts that one back online. Once it's happy, does the next one. And then it will do the bypass control and display. So yeah, you don't have to actually go to bypass even for doing a maintenance firmware update that way, which is superb. And another one on battery options. So different types of battery. So here we've only got internal batteries because we're limited on space. But again, with any battery setup, we want to make sure, a modular UPS system's only as good as its modular batteries. So here we've got internal batteries. We've got a string per tray, and as you can see, you can have batteries in any of these. We put them at the bottom just to save the heavy lifting, but we could have batteries at the top or modules all the way through. You could have external batteries, but the key for me is making sure that you've got a modular system. So we could open one set of batteries up, carry out maintenance on those batteries, change them, replace them, do impedance testing, stick them back online. We're still on inverter. We haven't had to put the load at risk.
It's still got battery protection
and
for the remaining ones.
Battery,
Short time, but it's there still.
So these are lead acid batteries, and we've got lithium ion options as well.
So it's lithium ion ready. We've supplied systems with lithium ion batteries. So if you need that, they're available also.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good in terms of question front. If you do have any others that you think of later, do drop them in, and we'll try and get you answers to them as soon as we can.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us this morning. That's been good, and I recognised a few names on the list of people who'd signed up. So nice to see you guys, and welcome. We'll see you again.
Yeah, thank you, and we'll send out the white paper via email, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Bye bye.
And in summary, so we've only had a short period of time to be able to look at today's presentation. One of the key drivers now is education. Obviously, as the students and the new graduates are coming into the industry, green is a big part of their education, and they're bringing some very good ideas and leadership into the industry. Energy prices, they're only going to increase over time. We've seen a huge increase now over the last few months, and it's only predicted to increase. So increasing your efficiency and driving renewables is going to be key. Edge computing, low latency is only going to increase as well, which is again also adding increased demands onto the network, as is the EV charging, which we just seen. So all of this is driving towards a low carbon economy, and to achieve that we need to increase efficiency. So thank you very much for listening to today's presentation. If you have any questions, please drop us an email at info.uk@socomec.com, and we'll be happy to get back to you. The first one here, could you just clarify front and behind meter, exactly what we mean by that?
Yes, certainly. So front of meter application, this really refers to sort of your energy providers, your distribution network operators, as well as your transmission system operators. So anything that's happening in the generation, transmission and distribution sector. Behind the meter application, this really refers to your consumers. So this will be commercial and industrial and residential.
Another one here, again via email. Can energy storage be used to replace diesel generators?
Absolutely. As you know, Richard, a lot of the times, nowadays diesel generators can be seen as dirty power, and regulations in buildings may not cover that for generators. So using a battery energy storage system, we can overcome some of those challenges and provide sufficient power.
Okay. One here on the AC coupling cabinet. Is that supplied by Socomec? Is that part of the solution, it's asking?
Yes, that is actually designed and supplied by Socomec in-house.
Okay. So, and it's the same native outdoor IP55 double
Yes.
skin, exactly
So
the same.
we use exactly the same cabinet. We just design or engineer the internal components.
One on the chat here, and it's to do with cycling of the batteries and the life cycle of lithium-ion batteries, and how many times they can be cycled as part of their cycle.
Life cycle.
Well, typically, the lithium-ion batteries at the moment, we're looking at 10 to 15 years plus. Obviously, that changes as the technology changes and the development takes place. Typically, we're looking at about 3,000 cycles. That's the number I've got. But Gordon, we'll come back to you as a specific question you've asked there. We'll get the specific data from the manufacturers and get back to you on that.
Yeah. It's important to note that your warranty is applicable for a single charge and discharge during the day, full single charge and discharge. But obviously, if you are using the energy storage system for multiple discharges and charges, the warranty on the battery is affected.
Okay. There's no more questions. As Marcus said, if you have any questions, please email us at the end of the presentation, and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. We will come back to you, Gordon, on your specific question on cycles.
Yeah. With that, thank you so much. I do hope that you guys enjoyed the presentation. And again, if you do need to contact us, the email address is on the screen, info.uk@socomec.com, and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you so much.
Couple of questions, Richard?
So a couple have been emailed into me, actually. The first one here is, why is the withstand rating so important?
Well, because as we said before about the contacts, you need to be able to hold the contacts together, because basically it allows the full value of the short circuit to travel upstream and allows the upstream device to do its job and tripped. Because remember, these are a switch disconnector, they're not a trip device.
Okay, thank you. Another question just come in as well. Is the switch disconnector able to operate under normal load?
Yes. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Yes, it can under normal load. Sorry, I say yes. Sorry, it's a short answer, but yes, it is. It can operate under normal load. Yes.
And that's so. Just to recap that, so that's a difference between the different types of switches.
That's correct.
And the categorizations of them.
Yes, it is.
The switch disconnector is able to open the load.
Yes, that's exactly right. Sorry, it was a very short answer, but yes, to give things quite, it's just short. Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, it can.
Another one. Does the automatic switch have the same characteristics? You mentioned the PV mod.
Yes. So the Circo PV mod is a transfer switch, like the ATYSs in the Socomec range. They're effectively two switch disconnectors back to back, so it can actually isolate under load. So you can use it as an isolator as well as a transfer switch, and then it actually will fully isolate, disconnect, and also allow the full short circuit to travel upstream, and will also prevent both sources feeding the load, which obviously has some large short circuit characteristics implications.
Okay, that's all I got.
Well, that's good. If you have any more questions, you can see on the email there, contact us at info.uk@socomec.com and we'll come back to you.